Black Clover chapter 249 just dropped, and another short chapter, but a welcome one. So after two full chapters focused on Luck fighting a member of the Dark Disciples with a very bizarre power, we cut to Leo fighting his own Dark Disciple, and apparently this Dark Disciple defeated one of the Fire Guardian of the Heart Kingdom, and the people are in fact justly so panicking, stating that their guardian just died. We was defeated. What hope do we have left? What hope does this Clover Kingdom mage have? So we then cut to the fight between Leo and this dark disciple called, I think, Savoyer? I can't pronounce his name right. Savoyer. Whatever. So Leo is currently running around trying to find his opponent. Because this is a very interesting opponent Leo is faced with. Because this guy's magic is essentially like eye magic, essentially. So he has these eye drones, essentially, that's created, following Leo everywhere he goes, keeping track of his mana and what he does, not to mention also predicting what he'll end up doing next, due to sudden shifts in his body movement or in his mana, which is a very hard opponent to fight, because if their opponent can end up seeing what you are doing, then it's going to be tough to beat. Not to mention the guy can actually snipe from a distance. So he's fighting someone that can not only keep track of his own magic reserves and how he moves and what he could possibly do next, he can also snipe away at him from far away at almost any distance. From what you can see, the guy hasn't moved at all. He's just been chipping away at Leo as much as he possibly could, and Leo's trying to find a way to beat him. We're going through this, and Leo is struggling to find out what he can do to win. We then get a very brief flashback, like we did with Luck and Gaia, who used lightning magic, to Leo's time training with the Fire Guardian of the Heart Kingdom. He basically tells of his relationship with Fagolion and Marioliona, his older brother and his older sister. Basically, people are like, okay, so Leo is strong, but he's not Fagolion and Marioliona. I don't see him being any better than these two. They are the pride and joy of the Vermilion family. And he's like, strong, and Leo does state in his flashback that he's like, the stronger I get, the more I feel like I'm not as strong as they are. But the Fire Spirit Guardian states that Leo is himself. He's him. He has the strength to endure and sharpen his senses. He's gotten stronger. Leo says that with everything that's been going on in his life, he's strengthened his own power and sharpened it to a point where he has good control over his power, and he can use it to help in fights a lot more than he can. So this is essentially symbolic of basically him joining the two fighting styles of Marioliona and Fagolion, his brother and sister, essentially, from what I can tell. Sharpening his senses like his sister, but also being more tactful like his brother. That's honestly the perfect thing. He's the youngest sibling of the three, so it's very possible that he would take notes from his siblings and try and combine them into his own fighting style. So then once his enemy ends up sniping at him, he manages to turn around and use rune arrays to try and power up his flame magic to hit him. But when that happens, the guy dodges. But what the guy didn't notice that Leo wasn't running away or trying to find cover. He was running away to buy time. It turns out he was making this giant magic circle as he was running. He was doing it little by little. And then he ended up using True Fire Magic. True Fire Magic Crimson Eruption. And it does state that he was keeping this guy's focus on him so he wouldn't notice what he was doing, which is smart. So he sharpened his senses to know where his opponent's eye magic would be, to keep track of him, so he can fire and distract them. But he also used his quick wit, which he basically took from his brother, from what I can tell. This is all purely speculation, but this is what I get from this fight. Then he launches the attack, practically burning the guy, also giving away his location. And Leo manages to find him and deal the finishing blow. Now, unlike the fight with Luck, This was a pretty short fight, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I do get that. I do get Black Clover with the recent like 3 or 4 chapters have been pretty short recently, but it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine, especially with how these fights are so much quicker than they should be, especially since these are throwaway villains. They're, but anyway, aside from that, I'm glad we got to see Leo fight. It was something that I was kind of concerned with. Like, well, are we going to see everybody that's currently in the Heart Kingdom fight? And so far, we are. I think next we're probably going to get a fight with Charmy, and then we're going to get to the battle with Mimosa, Noelle, and Laurel Pachica fighting against Vonica and her demon power. So that could be what happens with the next couple of chapters. I think Charmy is the one that I'm really looking forward to seeing, because with these 6 months, I feel like Charmy would have found a way to learn how to use that magic devouring power she got from her dwarf side. So if she can manage that, she can devour any magic she wants endlessly, since she is a glutton. So if she someone mastered her own power to consume magic and bring about that power whenever she wants, she'll be a force to be reckoned with, and she'll make quick work of the Dark Disciples. But with all that said, I feel like we're going to get a fight with Charmy and then with Noelle and the others. Then we're going to cut back with Dante against the rest of the Black Bulls, and we might very well possibly see who the Black Bull that's spying in the Spade Kingdom will be. But yeah, another short chapter for Black Clover, but overall a really good fight. I really did like how the writer made Leo's fighting style more like a combination of his brother and sisters, but somehow make it his own as well. And seeing him hold his own, because he hasn't really had an actual win ever since his introduction. He was just, there to try and act like a rival for Asta. And he never really did anything super important except for holding his own against some of the elves until Fogolion showed up. But so yeah, I'm glad that Leo finally got a win after all this time. But with all that said, hope you guys have an awesome day. See you around.